Well, this is the Exhibition of Speed podcast. Welcome, everyone. Good
I'm
morning,
Justin.
good
Hello.
afternoon, and good evening, wherever this podcast may find you. That's an intro.
We have Gavin.
Hello.
I am Justin.
And I'm Jordan.
Welcome, Jordan.
Thank you.
This episode, initially we were planning on having Justin tell war stories, but we decided to have Jordan come along. And Jordan actually threw down and decided to bring a mic and a stand.
So this time
Like a fucking G.
we're actually a little more official.
Yeah, this is so much more legit than our original setup. It's crazy.
So, Jordan,
Yeah.
tell us about yourself.
Tell us about myself.
Yeah, not everyone knows exactly who you are. Unfortunately, the 718 Cayman video didn't get the most amount of views, which is crazy because that's our most expensive video that we've made.
Yeah. So, what the hell, everybody?
yeah, right? What the fuck?
Tune in, damn it.
Apparently, it's your face. So with
Yeah.
the podcast, as long as we don't do a video aspect where you're involved, we're good.
It's probably
I feel
my
like I don't
face.
sound that
It's
good
my-
on the
it's my
microphone either,
face.
though. So,
You sound great.
okay.
Trust
Well, that's
me,
good.
I can hear
At
you.
least somebody thinks so.
His wife doesn't either.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah, so I met Jordan actually through the car scene, through Integrated Engineering,
Yeah.
through Volkswagens. I filmed your car with a number of other people,
Uh-huh.
and you used to have a Volkswagen R32.
Yeah. So that's like you said. That's kind of how we ended up connecting, was our time with IE at the time.
Yeah.
And you just reached out saying like, hey, looking for people with this year model, and actually I didn't even fit the bread for that particular people you're reaching
you were
out for. And I
different
was like, but I have a Mark IV R32. Does that count? And you're like, send me pictures. And then it kind of just went from there.
Yeah.
And then ever since then, we kind of just became friends.
You
And
seem
so-
all right.
Yeah. Yeah, you're an okay guy. So, I mean, I figured why not?
Sure. Yeah, no, Jordan's a good dude. And yeah, so you're into cars. You also are into motorcycles.
Yeah, I always grew up riding motorcycles, and I've always been around cars and whatnot, but
Yeah.
I recently got a motorcycle again, and RIP, unfortunately, because that current motorcycle, I actually just blew the engine in that.
No.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, that'll happen when you're like fully pinned going 182 miles an hour.
God damn. Where was this?
In Mexico, I'm assuming.
No, it was actually on the 215.
Quote unquote Mexico.
Mexico.
Yeah.
On the 215 in Mexico, it goes
Yeah.
right by Cowabunga, Mexico.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, just outside Tijuana.
Oh, damn, son.
Yeah.
That's important. Because you were
But-
super excited because you just had some mods done to that. not too
Yeah,
long ago.
so yeah, that was unfortunate. I had a bunch of maintenance done to it. I had some mods done to it. Got a really good sounding exhaust put on and
Yeah,
everything.
different tune, not to make it faster, but just to make it run more
Yeah,
efficiently.
but it also just happened to come with more power, which was also
yeah,
kind
it's
of
like 50 more horsepower, wasn't it?
yeah, something. like that.
In a bike.
So I have
Yeah.
to ask, blowing the engine, A, what blew up, and B, did it lock up your rear?
Didn't lock up my rear, and I caught it soon enough to where I don't think there's any damage. Right now, it's completely disassembled on the workbench.
Okay.
And I'm waiting on a specialty tool to take the flywheel off right now.
Gotcha.
That should be here tomorrow, so I can actually tear into it and find out what's wrong. But my assumption is it threw a rod bearing.
So
Nice.
compared to cars, how expensive is bike maintenance? Because there are obviously fewer cylinders. Everything is smaller. There's, I presume, not as much moving parts.
And even to buy, they're cheaper.
To buy, they're cheaper to maintain in general. But as for something like a repair like of this nature, how's this compared to cars? Because I know fuck all about bikes.
Yeah, so this isn't going to be fun either way.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
So if it is
The
a
divorce
thrown,
papers are getting filed.
yeah, right. So if this ends up being what I think it is a spun rod bearing, I definitely feel like I caught it soon enough because none of the oil had any particulates in it. I pulled the oil pan off. There's no like metal shavings anywhere.
Right.
So I think we're still in good shape. But in order to fix it properly and not just do like a
Is this
quick,
4 figures?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So if I wanted to do it properly and rebuild pretty much the bottom engine, I'd be looking at like $3,000.
Okay.
So
And I'm guessing that includes remachining all surfaces, all that kind of fun jazz.
yeah. Or for like $1,500,
Yeah.
I'm still waiting to like figure out what the actual problem is before I make an actual decision. But for $1,500, I've found the same year model of bike engines available that have like 2,000 to 3,000 miles on them.
And then you can just hope and pray.
Right. And hope it doesn't also have that same problem. But then if that does, I can put that in there, and in the meantime, I can build up this other engine and just have another one on the standby. Or I was thinking, since it will be a really built, well, right now it's pretty built, but then it'd be built even more, 1,000cc engine.
What was it before? For the people at home that don't know what bike you had.
Yeah, so I had have
currently.
I have 2 bikes actually now.
Okay.
But this one that's currently apart is a 2014 Yamaha R1.
Okay.
Which
gotcha.
is a liter bike, which for those who don't know what liter means, it's a 1,000cc motorcycle.
It's a 1 liter.
Yes.
And those also have flat plane cranks, don't they?
Yeah, it has a cross-plane motor
Gotcha.
that started in Yamaha's in 2009. And
Okay.
they've remained with that since. But then 2014, my year, was the last year of this particular body style with what they have, the technology in there. And then 2015 is when they changed the body style and added all sorts of more fun electronics.
With different body style, when you use the word body style, coming from someone that doesn't know anything about bikes, do generations change with body styles, or does it still take more? Is a body style technically a refresh, or is that a new generation?
It can be both.
So just like cars, it could be a
Yeah,
facelift.
sure.
or it
So
could be a new
to
body.
put this in perspective, I guess if we're talking in the scheme of like Volkswagen or Audi,
Sure.
there's the B5 series that was a span of years,
Mhm.
and then you have the B6 series.
Mm-hmm.
So like my bike,
And those are different chassis, different bodies, different
same
motors.
thing. So 2009 and 2014 was the same bike, same frame, same engine, and everything. It just,
Okay.
I mean, slowly progressed a little bit year and year. There's a little bit changes here and there, but for the most part, the engine, the frame, the whole bike itself was the same.
And then
Gotcha.
15 was
And then
different.
15,
a
whole
new
new body
generation.
style, all new electronics,
Everything.
Like, I mean, for the most part, has the same engine, but there's definitely some addition to the engine as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And even in that particular body style, just like cars as well, at 2012 they actually had an addition of other electronics and stuff that the 09 to 11 don't have.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm thinking if I have to tear that engine out, well, it's already out, but I mean, if I have to end up coming to the decision to buy another one
Yeah.
and put it in there, I'll just run that thing into the ground. The one that's currently apart, I'll rebuild it. I'm kind of torn. Maybe you and the listeners can weigh in on this, because this has kind of been like a fun thought I've had.
Okay.
I have an engine in the bike. Take this built 1,000cc engine, like single seat dune buggy, go-kart.
Ooh.
'Cause it's,
Ooh.
I know it's above 100 horsepower. How many horsepower does it make in what rebuilt form?
Rebuilt form.
Pre-rebuilt, you mean?
No, I mean like
Or
since
what
he
it
has
w-
the tune and everything.
what it will be.
What it will be, yeah.
Okay.
So without the tune is like 190 horsepower.
Gotcha.
With the tune puts it at like 225.
Jesus.
So
That's a
You
lot
could do
of
a
power.
two-frame.
for a 4-cylinder engine that weighs maybe 250
I
pounds.
mean, hell, in theory, if you had, let's just do this easy. If it's making around 200 horsepower at the wheels,
Yeah.
somewhere around there, and you have a 500-pound frame, you're making 800 horsepower per ton.
right.
I mean, you could in theory do somewhat of a quasi cross cart thing, which is like a tube frame basically,
Uh-huh.
and then have one set of suspension that can do off-roady doony shit or rock crawly shit or whatever, and then have another set of suspension if you really want to go to fucking town,
Or
that-
maybe-
that can do like road course shit.
Yeah, maybe I could get a hold of Sierra Cars
Exactly.
and be
Shout
like,
out Cole Powelson. Shout out Life Motorsport. Shout out Sierra Cars.
yeah, there it is.
See, and
And be like, hey, do you just have like a chassis laying around that I could just like slap this motor in?
Cole might.
I mean,
And like,
Cole might.
and I wouldn't mind even like paying. I mean, I don't want to pay a shitload of money for it, but I mean, I'd pay for it, and that would be
If you just bought the chassis yourself and then
did all the rest of the
if you
fab
did
work.
everything else yourself, you would save a lot of money.
Yeah,
I mean, I just had a crazy thought, and this would be even crazier than Sierra cart because it's even it's a lot smaller. Just go buy a shifter cart.
No, I've thought of that.
You know how crazy that would be
Okay.
because you've got a 100-pound chassis.
I know.
Then dumping a motor like that in there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so my only issue with that is because that was my very first thought.
That's very proprietary.
My very
Yes.
first thought was shifter cart.
Yeah.
But then I was like, well, somebody has to have done this. So I looked up the videos of it, and sure enough, people have, of course, done it.
Yeah.
You can't even keep that thing in a
Oh, I'm
straight
sure-
line.
I'm sure.
And like, you
Like-
can't even really drive the thing. You touch the
No.
gas, and they're like constantly spinning
I mean,
the
it would
tires.
be
Yeah.
great and cheap, but because you can get a frame for $500-600.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be usable.
You
No.
know what would
It'd
be?
be fun. I feel like so that's one of those things where I feel like it would be fun for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You
And then
know
after
what
that,
would
you're like,
be-
okay, I'm sick and tired of spinning out.
What would be a hysterical build is if you did a golf cart.
Yes. Okay, that's what we're
Oh.
doing. You're gonna no, and you has to get one of the lifted golf carts.
No. I'm thinking wide body,
Oh,
lower
jeez.
it, like
Put some fat square tires on it.
so you know how like Gunther
Are we trying to
works?
stance this thing too?
No, I'm saying like, fucking, like make it a fucking race car because you know how Gunther works.
Hashtag stance wars.
I mean, hell, you could do
At
that.
Andrew
And now
Jack, AJ Media.
Here's the finished build, everybody. He pulls up. It's got adjustable uppers on air suspension, so he can stance it and slam it if he wants by adjusting the upper control arms.
Oh my
and
God.
then send him back out and lower it back down if he wants to handle.
I was also thinking if I put it in a single seater or maybe even 2-seater dune buggy or something like that.
Put it in a-
Turbo it.
Turo it. And I think it has to have an actual VIN to Turo it.
No, turbo.
Oh,
Turbo boost.
Yeah.
Boost.
Yeah.
Screw me, I can't hear. Anyways, yes.
Huh? What?
But yeah, we
So-
could Turo this thing. We'll be like, scrolling through too.
Like,
Oh, that's
that
a
would
sweet
be-
truck. Nice minivan. Sweet Porsche. What the fuck is this
$30
thing?
a day? What?
Yeah.
Hell fucking yeah, brother.
Yee.
Yeah.
See, I can imagine that's an insurance's worst nightmare. What was he driving? I don't know. It was this metal frame.
It's a thing.
It's this thing that was going like way faster than I didn't even
I
think
saw
that it-
this set of scaffolding pass me at about 180.
No, I'm hard set on the golf cart idea. I think that would be a like a really well handling.
Yeah, like I'm
how
trying
well
to-
you can. I don't, what kind of brakes can you even put on that?
I mean,
don't even
and
know.
fairly cheap to get into too. Golf
Oh,
carts
yeah.
are cheap to buy.
Yeah,
and
get a
all
golf cart for $500 to $1,000. Take the roof off or leave it on.
Yeah.
Have it set of golf bags.
I feel like with how much power it's gonna have, it's gonna need like take the roof off and actually like put a proper
cage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
I
sure.
mean, dude, damn,
You might
may
need
even
a ballast. You may need a ballast. In
You
the
may
front 'cause
need
it'll
to
just
just do
lean
a-
back.
you may need to just do a custom frame and body swap that bitch.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like custom make like some kind of like Sierra car type kind of thing, like where it's
Also,
like
okay,
Be
no, so there you
badass,
go.
though.
You
but
literally
and, like put some paddles on it and just
Or
Just walk on
golf cart, or hear me out,
yeah.
Grom
Oh God,
or a Ruckus.
I'm gonna have to look this up because a leader bike swapped Grom.
That'd be a little bit.
I feel like
nuts.
that might have been done by
I hope-
like someone in Texas or some shit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I hope the Grom squad here in town's listening because they can get fucked.
Shout out Grom Squad.
I swear to God, those people, it blows my mind. I see them in town. There's like 50 of them on
Yeah.
the Groms.
Yeah.
And everybody that rides them, they're like way more than me. And they're like 4 feet taller than me. And I'm like, what are you doing on a bike that big? Like, why?
Get yourself a big boy bike.
Yeah.
There was a guy I saw in high school coming back from lunch that he was. I think he was. I'm pretty sure he was riding a Grom, and I'm pretty sure he didn't weigh any less than 350. And
Wow.
literally, each of his ass cheeks were sticking out past the seat.
Oh,
Oh
is he
my
the kind of guy
gosh.
that like when he flies has to book 2 seats?
He wore
when
overalls
flies?
too, so I mean, it all the picture. I have the picture somewhere.
That's the
but-
overall package right there.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Good
I
Lord.
was surprised the bike was even moving
God damn.
Oh, those people. Why?
because they
Why?
love killing clutches.
Oh,
Well,
Jesus.
luckily those bikes are like cheaper by the dozen. So
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
true. So yeah, no, there's some ideas. Golf cart, Honda Grom, shifter cart, cross
Yeah.
cart, Sierra car,
something.
etc.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Then there was the other like more practical one was just like to get a frame of a bike that already has a blown engine that doesn't have one in it and just make another motorcycle.
Here's my question: how bad do you want to hurt feelings? Because I can think of some ways. I just had one. pop
I'm
in my
always
head.
down to hurt feelings.
Get a.
Geo Metro.
I was gonna say a rolling shell of a Miata.
Oh boy.
You would hurt a lot of because someone just did a fucking Hellcat, and if you had a 250 horsepower Miata, that's still a really well balanced car, but it's got a fucking motorcycle engine in it.
I think the only
Well,
You
problem.
could do a no lift shift system because of just flat foot shifting. It's a bike motor with a bike trans.
Yeah.
I don't know if the trans could handle that kind of stress though.
Not that
That kind of resistance
weight.
from that kind of weight.
Yeah, kind of weight.
I don't
yeah.
think so. I mean, we could probably rig something up.
If you did,
Because, I mean, you see people that do that kind of
like
stuff all the
vet
time.
Cart, the vet
Yeah.
cart. If you just took all the body off of a Miata,
Yeah.
just had a Miata cart.
I'd have to do some fabrication, but I feel like there's a lot of people that have taken actual cars and put like motorcycle engines in them.
Yeah.
Well, people have done boost to swap smart cars. You could get a smart car. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because those
Yeah,
those are rear engined.
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean that's like
been done.
People,
It's
yeah,
a little
been done.
typical.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
done.
It's a little typical.
Yeah.
It's not as much of a project of just like follow the instructions.
I'm gonna put it in R8.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
You're gonna half detune an R8.
Oh my god. Yeah, but it'll sound fantastic.
Yeah. Get at me, Audi.
every gear will last 20 seconds. It's great.
Yeah.
Stradman will be pissed.
You would outnoise him.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
And that was the most, like, I think that, other than riding the bike, that was the most upsetting thing about the engine is after I got it back, I rode it for one full day, and then this happened.
Jeez.
And the new exhaust sounds so good.
Okay,
Like,
so
oh my gosh. Like,
Justin asked if you
Yeah.
locked the rear wheel when you blew it. And you
you
said you
said no.
didn't.
no.
Was there any sort of accident or any kind of collision?
No, actually, I didn't even notice really anything was happened until I came to a stop at a stoplight and I started hearing this nasty knock.
Okay, so it actually happened after you hit your Mexico speed.
Right.
Gotcha.
Interesting. Okay.
But I don't know if that was the cause of it 100%. I'm guessing it. I mean, that didn't help.
I mean,
Going-
oil starvation at
Going
speed.
going all mechanic here, most of the time these things happening is overtime buildup of high revving, fun, fast things.
Yeah, so, well, with the bike itself has just over 25,000 miles somewhere in there. I can't remember off
So
the
it's
top
a
of my head.
pretty high mileage motor.
Yeah, for a motorcycle especially.
Right,
So
yeah.
that was my first thought was like, okay, well, this is some. How's that
the wrong
drink
pipe.
over there?
No, that was the wrong pipe. That's what that was.
All right. Okay.
This is Gavin trying to breathe whiskey.
It's a good drink. Thank you, Jordan.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jordan for supplying the High West. What kind of High West we have?
It's just the Prairie Bourbon.
It's good.
Apparently it's real smooth to breathe as well.
Yeah.
Live off this shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I mean that's effectively what you did in a mild sense. Is you you turbocharged a very quote unquote. You did the person that has the 150,000 mile motor that just slaps a big turbo on it and it just waits for it to blow, kind of.
Yeah. So that was definitely the smartest thing I could have done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
'Cause-
finished the last shovel to the grave.
Yeah, because I was thinking after this had happened, I was thinking, okay, well, doing that probably definitely did not help. However, it was also probably something that was probably on its way out.
It just quickened.
And
its
then
death.
the addition of that mass amounts of power to the bike and then doing that
Yeah.
just really topped it off.
It's a
like,
side
you know
note,
what?
Bill.
Screw this. I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, we had a good ride, but I'm done putting up with your shit.
Bye, Felicia.
It
Yeah.
joined the 27 club.
Yep,
Exactly.
Pretty
Damn.
much. Okay, so we've gone over your bikes.
Yeah.
Now,
Car hit.
we've mentioned one of your cars, but now like current cars and also history.
Okay, so we'll start at the beginning, I guess.
Genesis.
In the
Yeah.
beginning.
Yeah, from the beginning. So, from the beginning, my first car was an 86 K20 Chevy
Dope.
that I had built.
It's a great first car.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. 6-inch lift. It was amazing. Loved it. Had a 383 stroker with a 700 R4 transmission in it.
Okay.
And then at the same time that I had that, my parents ended up getting it for cheap from one of our friends. It was an 81 K5 Blazer.
Dope.
And so I had that, and I did some work to that. And I actually ended up trading that straight across for a Pew Pew machine.
Nice.
Yeah.
A yeet cannon?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, it definitely wasn't a high point by any means.
Oh,
But,
so we weren't high class, is what you're saying?
yeah, no.
Jordan's all country folk. That was definitely the vibe I got from your wedding.
Yeah. But it was a high-class country wedding, though.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, by the way.
Yeah,
That
of
was
course.
fantastic.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was a great time.
Yeah.
Only, I wish I would have got to enjoy it more, to be completely honest.
Well, that's
Yeah.
when
I
you're the
feel like-
star of the wedding. You're kind of just
You're running
stuck.
shit.
Yeah, it was. Well, I felt like, actually, no, I not felt like it's 100% truth. 90% of the time, I was taking a picture with somebody or doing something else. So,
That's
like,
the thing with
I
big
probably
weddings.
danced to like maybe 4 songs
Okay.
the whole night.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that was like my wife and I. That was like one of our biggest. Like, if we could do it again, it'd be like
Sure.
more about the party for sure.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah, no, I get you.
You
Yeah.
could do it again.
We could do it again.
Have a re-wedding.
Yeah, a re-wedding. That should be a thing.
Part 2.
Yeah, this time it's just
Well,
the
it's like-
reception.
it's like
Yeah.
it's like the people that go on the second honeymoons, but it's
Yeah.
the second wedding.
yeah,
Then it just makes the second honeymoon more legitimate.
yeah. I mean, I'm gonna need to raise some more capital before I do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
making an investment in my future.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, so
anyways,
K5 Blazers.
yes,
Cars.
yeah, sorry,
Car
yeah.
show.
Anyways, so those are the 2 vehicles at the time, and then after that, I moved to Idaho for college.
I'm sorry about that.
Went full country.
Shouldn't be sorry about that because it's definitely better in the state of Utah.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, some parts for sure. Having just been in Ketchum, absolutely.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was a little jealous about those pictures that came out. I was like,
oh, I have more too.
this lucky bastard, what the?
I have a couple fire photos of a Chiron coming.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm waiting to see those then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyways, back on track. So then I sold the truck when it was time for me to move to Idaho because I knew that going back and forth to Idaho from school, because that's where I went to and got my undergrad,
Yeah.
and going back and forth from there, like 400 miles in a
Expensive.
in an 86 Chevy
Expensive,
that's
uncomfortable.
lifted, and
Big old tires.
yeah, and it's pretty much just a sail.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're literally just driving a sheet of plywood down the road.
Yeah.
Like, no aerodynamics.
No.
No.
Big old brick.
I sold that, and that's when I got into Euro cars, actually, because that's when I owned my first B5 A4 Audi.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you had that before the
Yeah.
the R.
Right. So I had that for a number of years, did a bunch of work to that, loved it. It was great. I actually had that thing built pretty well. And then
Was that still KO3?
No, it was KO4 swapped.
Gotcha. Cool.
Put head studs in it, full. It was pretty much stage 3.
Pretty
Nice.
typical 1.8 build.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Making it handle power.
Yes, exactly. So I did that, and then I want to say it was probably about 2 weeks before I was getting ready to move to Utah for grad school, I was just driving 25 miles an hour down the road, and all of
Uh-oh.
a sudden I lost all power to my car,
Mm.
and I was like, well, WTF. And I pulled over, and it wouldn't start, nothing, wouldn't turn over. Got it, and I was like, luckily right around the corner from my house, so I just like had it, like my buddy was on his lunch break, and he lived right down the street, so we just kind of pulled it in
Perfect.
my driveway kind of thing.
Perfect.
Nice.
Yeah, worked out really good that way. But I started tearing things apart, and I stripped like 40 teeth off my timing belt.
Oh.
Yeah, just a whole strip of the timing belt, like as if it never had teeth.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was sweet. And
That's
when I
rough.
saw that, I was like, oh, this is gonna be real fun to fix.
Piston meet valve.
Yeah. Well,
High
so-
five.
So this.
Oh,
is,
that's my left hand. Hold up.
Holy smokes.
There we go.
That's
Okay,
more
that's
satisfying.
better.
Yes.
So that was my first thought for sure. I lucked out. There was no piston damage.
Wow.
Not at all. I cleaned off the pistons and I looked on there. No scarring on the pistons at all.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, all right, cool. Then I'm just going to get a new head and I'm going to just sell it because I'm about done dealing with this shit.
Yeah.
It's good to know when you can count your chips and walk away.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I did that. I rebuilt the head and sold it. Well, actually, I bought a whole different head that was completely remanufactured and everything. And then my head was the core charge, essentially.
Yeah.
And so I rebuilt it just as I would, because at the time I was like, oh, I'm going to keep it when I was in Idaho. But then I moved here and I was like, you know what, I'm going to sell this thing. And I actually ended up selling it to one of my good friends, and he has it now.
Oh, cool.
And that thing runs like a champ, apparently.
That's good.
Yeah.
Hasn't given him a whole lot of problems.
The only major problems he had was when I lived in Idaho, we were going fishing, and one of my friends was like way trashed, and he was sitting in the back seat. He's like, oh, these back windows don't roll down. So I rolled down the back windows, but they don't go down far enough. And because like in the B5s, they stop like this high because of the speaker.
Okay.
And so he's like, no, they don't go down. Pushed it right off the rail.
What?
Oh.
Yeah.
He said he was trashed.
Yeah.
Did he pay to fix it?
Well, I'm getting there.
Oh boy.
Oh, no.
It gets
geez.
better.
That means no.
It gets
It
better.
did-
Continue, please.
Yeah. So he's like, well, I need to roll down. He's like, I need to roll down the window on the other side. I'm like, no, you're good. Rolls down the window.
Does it vomit?
Did the same thing to the same window.
What
Did the
the
same thing to the
hell?
other window
Fuck.
on the other side.
Dude.
Pissed.
How
But-
much what did he have that night?
We were fishing and he had, I don't know how much, but a lot of whiskey.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we went all country boy.
Yeah. And mind you, oh my God, the stories I could tell about this fucking kid.
That's a whole podcast itself.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's a whole
Jesus.
series.
Yeah, basically, he was this kid that was from California, that was from Elk Grove, which is just like right outside of Sacramento,
Cool.
and he thought that he's like, oh, it's a small cow town, and my wife actually called him out on it because
Nice.
her brother-in-law is from Elk Grove as well,
Okay.
and he's like total city kid, and he's like,
The fuck are you talking
and
about?
she's been there before, and she's like, that's not a cow town at all. I just totally called him out on it.
Yeah.
It was fucking hilarious to see that go down.
Oh, I'm sure. You're just sitting here
Yeah.
like, it's
Yeah.
great. Let me get a drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That was great to see that go down. But he moved to Idaho and went like full country,
Gotcha.
like overnight.
Wow. So basically how people move to Draper.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. Whatever that means. I'm not from here, so I don't know what that means.
Fake country, drive a lifted truck,
yeah.
chews tobacco.
Is that a Draper
Camo.
thing? I feel like that was a Spanish Fork thing from what I've heard.
That happens a lot, Draper.
I think it just happens a lot along the Wasatch Front.
A lot. Yeah, it does.
Oh,
Draper
okay.
gets a bad rap for a lot of that. Of just like
Yes.
mommy and daddy bought the house, chew tobacco, drive a lifted truck, wear a camo with a fucking camo hat or cowboy hat or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Typical bro douche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
those
so,
are the
like-
best.
So he never. I'm guessing he never ended up paying to fix the windows.
No, he didn't, and I didn't feel like doing it either because I never used my rear windows. So I pulled the door panels off and put the window back all the way up, and then shimmed it with 2 blocks of wood on both sides.
Nice.
Fix is fixed.
Yep.
Fix is fixed.
So I mean, the guy that bought it, I told him about it, and he knew. I didn't just
like,
like
whatever.
surprise him with it. Like,
Yeah.
why the fuck don't the windows run out? Oh yeah, by the way.
There's a couple blocks of
Joke's
wood
on you,
holding that
bitch.
up.
No. So yeah, that was he. Apparently, that was really the main thing was, and then he's had to do like the timing belt, the timing belt itself, but the tensioner apparently wore out. Which I'm also kind of shocked because
that's something that
he-
happens on Mark 6s and
Yeah.
that your old car is not the only car to be affected by that.
Oh yeah,
That's a
and
kind
it
of a
was like
thing.
a brand new everything, but I mean, brand new stuff is known to be defective right out of the gate. So.
Oh, yeah.
There's that.
Yeah, but I mean, long story short, he loves the car and is all about it. Because before that, he actually owned Mark IV GTI.
Okay.
So he had the 1.8 GTI.
Yeah.
And then he just pretty much stepped up to the 1.8 4-door.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of the equivalent of, WRX jumps up to a Legacy GT.
Right.
Yeah.
Similar.
Yeah. So then I sold that, and then I got my Mark IV Volkswagen R32.
And that's when Jordan and I met. And
Yeah.
so what do you drive now?
Now I drive a B8 Audi A4. I wanted to get an S4, but then I realized my pocketbook wasn't that deep.
You didn't have 30 Gs.
No. And so, yeah.
You got a stick, though.
Yeah, I got a 6-speed.
You got to row your
So
own.
that was nice. And I also bought it. This is kind of a unique situation because the chassis and the odometer say 175 on it.
However,
the engine and transmission and drive lines and everything only have 60.
Nice.
okay.
And what happened was the prior owner had some like major turbo issues with the last engine, and so he just decided to do, and apparently it was time for a new clutch as well.
So he started to do a whole drivetrain swap.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
And I was like, well, I'll be down to like buy this if you have like 100% paper to back this up. And he's like,
Yeah.
I got this. And so he like laid out, he sent me pictures before I even went and got it. And he's like, here's all the paperwork. Like, here it is. And sent me like detailed images of like every piece of paper. And he's like, this is like proof of here's the VIN number of the motor this is the VIN number of the vehicle that this motor came from and the whole drivetrain came from. It was a 2012 that it actually came out of.
Wow. Oh, wow. So 0.5 then.
Yeah. And so he's like, this is the VIN number of the vehicle it came out of.
Uh-huh.
This is the original miles that were on the car, which at the time was 30,000
Wow.
and everything. So he like had everything to back it up. So I was like, all right, cool. And he's
Done
like, well, I
deal.
got, and it was in Boise, Idaho. And I
Okay.
was like, well, I can't be there till Tuesday to pick it up. And this was on a Sunday. He's like, well, I got other people looking at it. I was like, well, how much are they offering you? And he's like, well, they're offering me like, it was like anywhere from like $1,000 to $1,500 less than what he was asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, I'll pay full asking price and I'll be there on Tuesday.
That goes a long way
It
when
does.
you play.
And I'll give you
full
cash
asking.
and I'll give you cash in hand. And
Yeah.
he's like, cool. See you Tuesday.
Nailed the coffin shut.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And I paid $7,500 for it.
Fuck yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a good deal.
It's a damn good deal.
Good for you, man.
So yeah, I've been really enjoying that car. I got some small plans for it. I mean, it also already had an APR tune on it,
Cool.
and it had a high flow cat on it.
Nice.
But other than that, it's stock,
Which is good. I mean, like, as
and that's
much
what
as
I
it-
wanted.
Yeah, as fun as it is to modify shit, it's also nice to just have something that just works.
Yeah, and that's something I
Preach.
think I might have been talking to you about this before, but
Probably.
I've definitely talked to it about other people. Is like all the other cars trucks, cars, whatever I've owned have always been like heavily modified
Yeah.
or modified to some sort.
Yeah.
Sure.
And at some point, I have issues with it, and I feel like I'm constantly working on it. This car, I'm like, it's got stock suspension. This thing rides good.
It just
and then I'm
runs.
like, and it runs good, and like I don't have any issues. Like it's tuned, but it's not like too tuned. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, like the ECU is a reflash, but that's kind
Yeah.
of it.
yeah, that's all it is. And it has the high flow cat, so like I mean,
it
I can
sounds
still
good.
register it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really sound good because that high flow cat with the turbo and stuff makes it sound like fucking bunch of bees are pissed off inside there.
It kinda, I mean, it's a
But-
GTI motor,
Yeah,
right? So
right.
it's similar. It's in the same family.
Yeah. So, I mean, the only other things I really want to do to her are going to be an intake, an exhaust, and then wheels and tires.
Perfect.
And after, I'm just going to leave it at that. Plus, two, I know those 2.0 engines are notorious for being kind of
Yes.
pieces of shit.
Yes.
Well, and it's a B8, not a 0.5. So you will probably at some point have to do timing chain guides or tensioners.
Right.
But the engine is from a 0.5.
Oh, the engine's. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Yes.
Yes.
You're totally right. So yeah, you're fine then. You're set.
Yeah. So it's from a 0.5, but still, I'm just like, I'm going to keep the mods minimal. And then,
Yeah.
because honestly, my next like thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna buy a truck so that I can have something to tow my motorcycles to and from the track and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then after that, I kind of want to get another Mark IV R32 and just kind of
Really?
I want to turbo that son of a bitch.
Oh my! We were talking about that, so I did
Yeah, I want
a
to VRT
review.
that guy.
So back when I was doing video things for Cam Auto Mag,
Mm-hmm.
I did a video on Jordan's car, and that was something I believe we discussed in the video.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, like, there are turbo kits. They're fucking $15,000, but there are turbo kits.
Yeah, to do it right, it's $15,000.
Yeah, I guess if you buy a project, fuck off. Who needs to do it right, you know?
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
Because out of every vehicle...
If it blows, it blows.
Right. Out of every vehicle I've owned, trucks aside and stuff like that, because that's a completely different realm.
Different ball game.
Yeah. Exactly. That was my favorite car, for sure.
It was so I was talking with Justin earlier tonight, and we were talking about Audis and Haldex and how we don't like it.
I don't care for Haldex.
Well, the Haldex in your car and the Haldex in an RS3 I just drove recently are the two best Haldexes I've ever driven from both Volkswagen and Audi.
So, but there was a catch to my Haldex. My Haldex was tuned for a 50-50 split all the time.
Exactly.
That's what needs to...
That's exactly what did it.
That's literally what makes the magic difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everything else is like 70-30 or 80-20 or something shit like that.
Yeah, it only sends the power when it needs it. Whereas, like, mine was tuned for all-wheel drive all the time.
Right. 'Cause, I mean, you have to be going basically full Stig status in order to really get the rear
To
end.
activate it.
Yeah, because I had driven my dad's second-gen TTS that was tuned by IE, and I've also driven, Mark 7 Golf Rs and Mark 6 Golf Rs and, like, all sorts of shit. And it never actually felt like the rear end ever did anything. It would just always shove like a GTI would.
Right.
And that's a common complaint that I have about GTIs and why I started to lean more towards Focus RS in that sort of regard. But yeah, that's that was a really fun car. And the seats were great because they're R32 seats.
Oh my god, those seats.
So I mean, your car had almost 200,000 miles on it. It had 190,000 miles, right? When you sold
it was 100.
194.
So I bought it with 164.
Oh, okay.
And I owned it for 1 year, and it was at 198.
Okay.
Nice.
So that's some driving.
That is, yeah.
Yeah, I owned it for like just shy of 11 months, actually.
Wow.
Oh, so not even a year.
Not even a year.
Because Justin, you put
And I cranked out some miles on that thing.
No, that's a pretty good...
That's about what you put on your Stinger.
No, that's less than what I put in the Stinger.
You drove your Stinger for over a year, though.
I know. When I passed the 1 year
But
mark...
you were all over the fucking place with that. I mean, I was too, but you were like all
The only
over
time
the
that-
place.
California, drove to Colorado.
Yeah. It was only twice. It was California and Colorado. Those were the only two out of states. The
You
rest
drove
of it,
you drove from Syracuse down to West Valley every day.
7 days a week. No,
yeah,
when I passed the year mark, I was at 39. So
Okay.
not too far off. So...
Yeah.
Yeah, so I put quite a bit of miles on that thing.
I would argue your trip was probably a lot less comfortable.
Yeah,
Then
It
a
was-
Stinger GT?
Yes.
absolutely.
Having ridden in your car, I know it was a fairly stiff beast.
Yeah, and having ridden in your Stinger,
Oh my god.
I would confirm that
Yeah.
it was definitely less comfortable.
I mean, Justin has straight up converted people to the Church of Stinger with that car.
Andrew.
Yeah. Andrew Casey, shout out to that dude.
I'm freaking sold on
then-
that thing.
who
Are you
then-
kidding me?
Yeah, well, he fucking bought one.
Oh, no shit.
So
Yeah.
the week after we did
Full
we did
conversion.
Yeah. So the week after we did the California thing, we had talked because we three shared a room, and he was totally down. He wanted to buy it. I let him drive mine just to get a feel for it.
Yeah.
And literally the week after that, he went and traded in his truck and his BRZ for a Stinger.
Well, damn. What kind of truck did he have?
A Silverado 1500, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, depending on what he used it for, that's one thing. But I mean,
He didn't really
good
do that many.
swap for the BRZ for sure.
He didn't do that many truck things with it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
To be
he kinda
honest.
just sat.
Okay.
And-
Well, then that was a good trade, especially
It
on the
was,
BRZ
and
end.
he's used the hell out of the Stinger, and he slayed me when he found out that I got rid of it.
Oh,
He
damn! Everything shot at castrating you.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it was all good. I basically just told him, dude, if I was independently wealthy and could have kept it, I would have. It
of course.
literally cried myself to sleep when I had to get rid of it because I did not have the ability to. I guess the way to put this is with the business I was going into, I wanted something new or newer, and I wanted it smaller, but it had to be a pickup truck, and. Really, the only way is going with a new Tacoma because the used ones are still way too expensive, and I need to be looking fairly fresh and new. And yeah, the more that I thought about it, I was just like, I gotta get rid of it. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Hold up. We're having some weird cutout issues. Sorry, everybody. Does this still work? Okay, so my mic started cutting out, and then your mic started cutting out.
Is it
Did
working
my
now?
mic cut out?
No.
But my mic's not doing jack shit.
Very strange. My apologies to everyone listening to this later.
I guess that means this is a podcast.
Well, okay, so I was picking... you're fine now.
Well, is Justin fine?
Yeah. What you just said was recorded and
Huh.
good audio. So that's strange.
Huh.
We could just keep going.
Yeah.
We could.
I think
I mean, how are we doing? How's this going? You good?
It's going good, yeah.
Okay, cool. I mean, let's keep going then. Fuck it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, why not just keep shooting the shit?
I'm down.
Okay.
I'm down.
It's working good.
This is gonna be a fantastic Friday episode.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Exactly. So, yeah.
If only it was actually Friday.
This is the miracle of television and media in general.
We'll edit that bit out. Just
Yeah.
kidding.
But yeah, that is a pretty stout amount of mileage for that kind of a car. So,
Yeah, that's
seriously.
great.
No,
Yeah,
good.
that was a lot of fun to ride in that car. Damn, that thing was comfy.
It was
The
comfy,
seats
it was
were good.
quick.
Like it was like
It held its
had
own
like
in the
the
corners.
perfect amount of like comfort to like bolster ratio.
Yeah. Because once the bolsters get tighter on you, it
Yeah.
really turns into a sports seat.
Right.
Like,
Absolutely.
the BRZ and like the FRS seats are very structured and very sporty.
Mm-hmm.
I would not want to have a drive from LA to here in an FRS.
No.
Yeah. And I've never driven or rode in either of those vehicles. However,
You should.
my
We should organize that.
my R32 that I had, those seats I would drive across the country in.
Those were very
Yes.
comfortable, bolstered leather.
Like
But still have padding is the big thing.
true.
lot of padding.
Yeah. Those were the comfiest seats I've ever owned in a car, and also like the bolstering on them was
Oh, they're
like,
huge.
astronomically large. Like what in the world?
It was
were-
comical. It was genuinely comical.
Yeah, but was like amazing too, because now the car that I currently own has like maybe a half inch of bolstering, and I'm
Yeah.
like, cool. I go around a slight corner at like on I-15 here, and I'm like thrown out of my seat down there. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Honestly, one of my favorite seats I ever sat in actually was a 2014 GTR, which was a press car. We were shooting with Everyday Driver.
I could see that.
But like the newer gen GTRs are genuinely comfortable seats.
Yeah.
It fit my frame perfectly. I don't know if it was engineered for my size human. Maybe Japanese people are 5'10" or 5'9".
They're smaller.
Fits the stereotype joke.
Yeah, it's exactly.
Yeah. My mom's 5'1", and she has this T-shirt that says, I'm big in China.
Nice. Nice.
Nice.
And she's not wrong.
Nice. Yeah, because you've been.
Yeah. Yeah, I have.
When was that? A couple of years ago?
Going on 4 years ago now.
Oh, damn.
actually.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. Will I go back? No.
Oh,
That's just a check off the list. Okay,
Yeah.
I've been there.
Been
cool.
there, done that.
Moving on.
Yeah. However, went to Cuba, and I would go there.
You and Andrew Jackson keep on talking about Cuba.
Yeah, so we should do a whole trip because,
The cars there.
yeah, the cars aside, like just the experience itself in
True.
general is like, dang.
What if I don't speak Spanish?
I don't speak Spanish.
Okay, so you got along fine?
Yeah.
Just being a gringo?
Yeah.
In Cuba?
Yeah.
nice.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I mean, same thing happened when I went to Germany. It's just everybody generally knows English as a second language.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So I've been to France a number of times.
Okay.
I went when I was 5. That kind of counts. But when I went in 2011, which was my senior year of high school, we had a senior trip. I spent like 7 days skiing in the Alps. It was fucking fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah, that was my my winter break, my President's Week break. And what's funny is we went as a foreign exchange program, but the funny part was the exchange family I was staying with genuinely wanted to speak English, and it was difficult. I had to be like, no, I want to speak French. I'm here to speak French.
interesting.
And when they came to Utah, so I went in
So they came
February.
and visited you too
Yeah,
afterwards.
it was a full-on exchange program.
Okay, all right.
So I went in February and skied in the Alps, which was great because I was in France. I had just turned 18 the month before, so we could get drunk.
Damn straight.
because everywhere
yeah.
else is not the United States.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
Fuck us. Anyways, so we
Oh,
we
God.
went there in February, and they came here in July or something. They
Okay.
came in the summertime. We met up with them in Moab.
Oh, good place to meet up.
Yeah, and we did like some like river rafty campy shit on the
Yeah.
Colorado just before Moab, and then we drove 4
Here's
hours.
America.
Yeah, no,
We
exactly.
don't have electricity here.
It's very hot. It's very hot and dry.
I want
Yeah.
to say they flew into Vegas
Oh, boy.
and then
God.
drove to Moab and some weird shit
Please
like that.
tell me they got to at least experience the strip.
Probably they probably did.
They got to experience
Knowing a couple of those
America.
kids, they definitely did.
Exactly.
And then and so we spent a week there, and they spent like fucking 2 weeks in Park City.
Wow.
So Park City
Dang.
and the town of Courchevel are sister cities.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I guess we share some of the same, I don't know, ethos or mentality
Yeah.
or the way we run our cities or I don't know what. So yeah, we are sister cities though, and so they spent like 2 weeks with us in Park City, it was fantastic. It was amazing.
That's super cool.
Yeah, and the great thing about going over there was it cost us like $1,500.
Yeah.
Right. All
Pretty
that-
much the cost of your flight.
It was the cost to get there, and everything else was fucking comped.
Yeah.
Like we brought our own money for drinks and things like that, and our own side spending money.
Right.
But everything else, like we were having home cooked meals, we were being transported places, our passes were like our lifts, or tickets or whatever were paid for.
Wow.
It was fucking amazing.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's pretty rad.
So, anyways, we were talking about speaking English, and
Oh, yeah.
when I went there, they wanted to really speak English there. But Courchevel is in the southeast corner of that country,
Right.
And Paris is definitely in the more northwest/north central part of the country, so
Yeah.
vastly different.
I've heard of it, but I'm not. Yeah, I'm glad
Well-
you're explaining this to me because I'm not really
Okay,
sure
so
where it's at.
yes, so if you are imagine the country of France as a clock.
Yeah.
Okay. Courchevel is around 4:30, 4:45 part. So
Right.
I guess if you're looking at me, it's more like down here.
Okay. Yeah, down
It's
in like
too
the
bad we don't
southeast
have
corner.
it's too bad we don't have a visual part of this podcast.
Yeah, down
And
the
then-
southeast corner of the
And
country.
then Paris is up over
Right.
here, which is more over by sort of 10 o'clock.
right.
Clear on the other side.
northwest.
Yeah, so how we actually got to Courchevel, we flew from Salt Lake to Paris direct. Just
And then
fucking
walked.
awesome. And then we flew into Geneva.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
Yeah, we flew into Switzerland and then took a 4-hour bus ride.
Back into France.
Yeah.
Shit.
Which is funny because if I've part of being me
Got
is
Justin over here trying to figure out where the fuck this place is.
I'm just looking at it.
are you fact checking me?
I mean, that wasn't the purpose, but now I am.
Well, you should fact check me and see if I'm right.
Turns out Courchevel isn't actually a place, and he's bullshitting us. He's never been to Europe.
This is all a bit. This is all a bit.
Yeah.
Anyways, so part of being Gavin is I fantasize ways to spend money, right?
Yeah.
If I were to have
You and I both.
if I were to have a $20,000 trip or a $30,000 trip, how would I spend it? I would fly into France, rent a Panamera Turbo or an RS7 or something, or something very executive and very fast. Drive down to Courchevel, ski around, then drive over to Geneva.
And drive back to the States.
No.
Wait, what? Is there a highway,
Sorry.
secret highway underneath the ocean?
Drive to Geneva
You know, probably.
and buy a Rolex or an Omega because they're both Swiss made.
Because why not?
Because fuck,
Why not buy one of each? Because fuck you money, right?
if I had fuck you money, I'd buy a Daytona.
Oh, yeah,
Anyways,
that's fair.
yeah, I'd buy a $20,000 watch, and then go drive up to Nürburgring, and then drive around the Nürburgring, and then 90 minutes away is Spa, which
Yep.
is a Formula One track for those that don't know, in Belgium, and go drive Spa, and then fly home. And that's like 30 grand right there.
I think that would
I-
cost you more than 30 grand. I'm sorry.
Maybe a little bit more.
I think the watch and like the driving on the Nürburgring and Spa,
Nürburgring-
Driving on the Nürburgring
Nürburgring's
is not
cheap.
that bad.
Is it?
That's the cheapest part of this whole thing, actually.
Yeah,
Is it
the
really?
Nürburgring is up. So here's the weird thing.
Depending if you go through RSR, which is a rental company that operates at the Nürburgring, you can drive things as low as a Renault 265 RS or whatever club sport thing.
Yeah.
You can drive M4s, you can drive GT3s, you can drive McLaren 650Ss, you can
But-
drive all sorts of shit. CSSTs.
So effectively, what
Alright.
it is the Nürburgring is actually a public road, and it's actually a toll road. So that's effectively how it works. It's when I went there.
Because there is actually, so there's the town of Nuremberg, which is
Yeah.
unrelated, that's the Holocaust.
Yes.
Then there's Nürburg, which is where the Nürburgring is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So on that ring, when I went there to Germany, I think it was 15 euros was the entry fee.
Really?
So
It's really cheap.
If you take your own
Wow.
car.
Have you seen the fail compilation videos?
No, but I bet you they're pretty interesting.
Oh, they're great.
There's a series.
You probably get like people that have.
Well,
like,
there's the drift videos.
I've seen. He's like, oh, I've seen people do this. I can do that.
Have you seen? There's actually a drift taxi. Have you heard of this?
I've heard of.
There's
drift
an
taxi, but I
M5.
don't know if it's the drift taxi.
There's
that
an.
you're
I think it's an
trying to describe.
F10 M5 that goes around, and you can ride in the back, and fucking homeboy that is a fucking expert at this shit is driving, and he will slide you around. What is it, 165 turns?
Yep.
He drifts you everywhere.
I want to go.
Yeah, right. Let's fucking.
I wouldn't
do
mind
it.
being a passenger.
Oh
Yeah.
my god. No, one of the more horrifying.
That'd be just
things,
as enjoyable as driving, honestly.
Something that isn't a crash. Something that isn't a crash, but it's one of the more horrifying things I've heard about the Nürburgring. There was a guy that actually lives in Nürburg
Okay.
that has an original Mini.
Really?
Okay. He has done a CRV all-wheel drive swap and a Honda swap. It
yes.
might be a V6. It might just be a B18. He mobs. He, like, the driving that I've been able to do and I've been able to get away with, that's one thing. And that is well and above, if you listen to our Wednesday podcast, or I guess it's too late now. I haven't posted it yet. Our Thursday podcast. That's one thing.
Today's Wednesday still.
This guy, this motherfucker, and we're drinking whiskey and talking, so I don't know how long this is going to go. This is probably run until we fill up the memory card to kill the batteries. This guy, he lives there. There's people like Sabine Schmitz who have done the Nürburgring numerous times, endless times, and there's people that live there.
Right.
Farah was driving something or riding, and he might have been riding with the guy from RSR in the rain. Okay, and they're on one of the front straights, and this motherfucker flies. He just leaves them for fucking dead.
The one in the Mini.
The guy in the Mini just
Oh,
just flies by them.
Jeez.
Imagine mobbing 120, 130, 140
I
In
mean,
an
pass
original
like you're
Mini.
standing
in a
still.
short wheelbase original Mini. It has all-wheel drive, but it's still a tiny wheelbase, a tiny, very light car.
Small wheels.
Tiny, yeah, they're like 12, 13-inch wheels.
I know. Like an upgrade would probably be 14s.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Because those were built at a time when Porsches came with 14s and 15s.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Damn.
So that's the kind of but the crazy thing about the ring, it's not like most other racetracks. Because when you and I drive it on Forza, that's one thing. And when you drive very, very stiff GT3 race cars on Forza, you maybe start to notice it. But it is a very rough and bumpy road.
Is it?
It's very wavy and bumpy. It's not smooth. It's not like UMC. It's not like Spa.
It's not. It's well, like I said, it's a public road. It's not technically
Right.
a racetrack.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's the graffiti on it, and I mean the carousels aren't smooth. But if you're going along the street, you are bumping up and down just like this. It's from what I've heard, it's wild.
Damn. This is all new news to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to go, well, it's actually too late now because they've all filled up. But next year, Everyday Driver, they do a trip called Pilgrimage, where they take people. It's like it's $7,000 or 7,000 euros or something like that, and you pay them, and everything's included. I think you pay them, and then maybe you pay for your ticket. I can't remember. But you go,
What's everything like?
transportation, food, housing.
Oh, like the whole trip.
Rental. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha,
And you
okay.
fly over, and you rent cars from RSR, so
Okay.
you can drive a Renault Clio RS 265 or whatever, and
Right.
then you drive a 911 GT3, and then an M4, and all these other cars, and you drive those to the Nürburgring, and then you drive 90 miles, and then you do it all again at Spa-Francorchamps.
Okay.
Yeah, those are two bucket list tracks for me.
Yeah.
And all I need to do is
I
come
would
up
put
with the
those
amount
on
of
my
money.
list too.
I mean, that's the amount of money I would pay for a car, for like a really fun, like a very well sorted like NB Miata or NA Miata would be like a lot of fun.
One also that would be kind of fun would be to do like the typical like to be able to have like a run at like the typical like Monaco track for the F1 series.
Oh, but like during like not the race,
Yeah.
that would be cool too.
Or, I mean, during the race, I guess, if they're going to let me drive an F1 car, but I don't see that happening.
I mean,
No.
and Monaco's picky enough. I don't even think, even when the circuit is set up, there's any kind of
Public entrance. No,
yeah.
no,
There's
no,
no
there's
public
no.
entrance. There has
No,
to be.
I know there's not.
Yeah,
You have to map it out on Google Maps and be like, okay, this is where I'm going.
yeah,
Well, so a
and
video
I need
that
to, like, give zero fucks about pedestrians.
pretty much. Yes,
a video that Justin showed me, was it a seen through glass video?
yes. It was seen through glass, and
With two other guys. There's a really
Paul
annoying
from
Fast and
Supercars
Furious?
of London. Supercars of London.
one, and then the other
then,
really irritating fuck.
Yes, I will look up who this fuck is while Gavin keeps talking.
Anyways, there is a race in between them. Seen through glass been doing, and I don't think he's completed yet. Has he completed?
He's still going
trek?
around the world.
So going around the world.
He's
and-
actually going to be here in about a month in Utah.
Interesting. We should totally make something happen.
I actually emailed him.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. So I emailed effectively offering a detail. So
You should do that, and you should also slide in his DMs as well.
I'm yes.
Okay.
I'm
cool.
gonna keep trying that.
Not just once, but like multiple times.
Just every day. Spam the shit out of him. I'm
Same
just
time
always,
of day too.
always coming to the top of the list. Yeah.
Oh my god,
So,
yeah. Anyways, he is driving around the world in a Porsche 911.
Around the world?
Around the world, he's shipping his car. He's been driving through Asia. He's been driving through.
So he already did Asia, Australia, New Zealand, Germany,
Europe.
pretty much all Europe,
Yeah.
Britain, and he just landed this week in California.
No way.
He's gonna take him a month to get here.
Because he's going up the coast. He's going up to Oregon, Washington first, going into Canada a little bit, and then looping back down.
Okay.
So
I'm sure he'll be on I-84 for.
He'd be stupid to, like, come all the way over here and not drive up into Alaska.
Right. Right.
that's a hell of a drive, though.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, come on.
Okay, but like
He's
from
driving around the fucking world. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
from where
I
he
guess
come from
for-
and what he's
My
doing.
only
Like,
thing is, what
I guess from California to Alaska, that's like fucking 40,000 miles.
it's not that much. It's I think if I remember
What is
correctly,
it, like 3,000 or 4,000 miles? Maybe.
it's probably a little more than that. Effectively, I know it's about 40 hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably close to 48 hours is what I was originally gonna
Yeah.
say.
Wow.
It's a drive, and then the question would be, which is probably why I didn't do it, is what would I do there? It'd be cool to visit, but what would actually
What
get done
content
there?
can you actually create
exactly?
when you're there? Yeah.
Except for just some beauty shots, because
I mean-
obviously you're gonna get those in droves.
Oh yeah.
But
And when he's gonna, well, I wonder if he's gonna hit Bonneville.
I think that
as,
was
as,
his,
as
I think
a car guy.
I think that's his plan. And he should.
What would be really cool is if we like met up and be like, "Hey, yo, dog, I got some fucking roads for you to drive. I got some drive homework."
That's
for you."
effectively what I messaged. Is like, look, hey, I want to offer you a detail. Hey, like I think it'd be cool to meet up, and I know people that can
Create
connect
some
you.
content.
Yeah, I know people that can connect you with some of the best roads, the best places to go.
Actually, okay. Here's a question, and we'll leave this to maybe some of the listeners as well. If you had a famous friend, let's just put it that.
By the way, the annoying fuck was Seb Delaney.
Okay.
Hi, Seb. Anyways,
Cool story, bro.
Thank you.
Anyways, if you had a famous YouTuber that is not from here, so Stradman doesn't count. If you had a famous YouTuber that's not from Utah, and those of us that are in Utah and that are from Utah that are listening, where would you have this person with a very capable sports car go? I mean, an easy pick for Seen Through Glass, because it's not that out of the way and that he can get on his merry way quite easily, would be East Canyon. Because there's scenic views, there's a lot of good driving through there. It's not that out of the way. It's just basically smack dab in between I-80 and I-84. So you got loads of options for where he needs to go to next. But as far as a good drive is concerned, Mount Nebo is definitely up there.
Wolf Creek.
Wolf Creek Pass is really good.
Yeah.
Have I been there with you, Jordan?
No, but I've done it multiple times on my motorcycle.
Okay, gotcha. I was gonna say, what? Damn, you thrown down with Wolf Creek. Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, Wolf Creek is.
It's definitely up there for sure. I was fortunate enough to drive a 991 GT3 from the gate back down to Francis.
Wow.
Yeah, so all along that river road, hitting
Hell yeah.
speeds.
Yeah.
achieving speed.
And that was actually
achieving Mexico speeds.
What was funny was the owner of the car has gotten a lot more confidence since he has personally driven that car on track. And so I drove that car back in, what was it, March or so?
Yeah.
And definitely, I don't want to say scared him, but definitely made him aware of what his car could do. And I wasn't really even pushing it really that hard because that road along that river is not technical. It's a lot of straight with like kink, straight, kink. And then he drove it on track, and I've seen the videos from him driving it on track, and he is sliding over attitudes.
Dang.
Yeah, no, he was sending it, and I'm starting to lose love for the phrase sending it, but he was fucking giving it all.
Yeah.
And so that happened, and then Justin and I drove that car after that. And I was able to give that car a second gear, post apex, on throttle power slides, corner exit power slides, and go.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh wow, okay, cool. I didn't know that would do that there. That's awesome."
And you're like, oh
First time he's like,
I'm over here just like fanning myself, like, "Oh my god,
I just did that.
that just happened. Holy shit."
should we, talking about holy shit moments, do you want to tell the story if they haven't already heard it, the Rossian story?
Which part?
Justin and I have a couple Ross. My Rossian story.
Sure. I don't know if I've heard any other
What
story.
Rossian? There's a couple. I can tell mine. So we know of an owner named Jason. Hi, Jason.
You're great.
Great guy.
He's the
Amazing
fucking best.
dude.
He's the fucking best. I mean,
Yeah, he's so awesome.
We've been very, very fortunate to deal with some very generous owners in the
Absolute-
past.
yes.
Jason is definitely up there, not just with his generosity of not just lending us, but letting us drive his car on camera and driving it as the way we want to drive the car on camera. Not only that, but he's just honestly a very like down to earth and fucking rad dude.
Absolutely.
He's
I could not agree more.
He is so awesome. Shout out to you, Jason.
We actually talked to him. I talked to him not long ago. He's like, "Hey, you need to set up my guitars."
Dude. Oh, yeah.
Hell
And
yeah.
I'm like, "All right, just let me
'cause
know when."
He's into like punk rock and metal and shit. Like he's like a fucking rocker.
Yeah.
Anyways, so he owns what year is it? Is it an 09?
Is it an 09?
I believe
It
is,
was
'cause-
built in 07 and titled and licensed, quote unquote, in 2011.
So I'm gonna just call that an 09.
This
Yeah.
particular car has a lot of gray areas.
Yes.
There are some things we actually can't talk about
Truth.
on record.
Yeah.
Not because of things that have been done, but just because of the car's history.
It's
Right.
had an interesting history, and it was a long test mule that did many things.
That did many things
Right.
in you could call the public eye, and that's all
Yeah.
that I'll say about that.
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah, we're not allowed to say anything else, really.
No. So Justin and I drove the car for the very first time last year, and that was quite an experience. The part of due to the car's history, the car has actually, since the car's been in Jason's ownership, hasn't actually been at the true 500 horsepower.
For most of the time, it's been having miscellaneous and various problems.
Right. It's a very finicky vehicle. So for those that don't know what a Rossian Q1 is, it's
Google
effective. First of all, Google it.
It's
Second of all,
gorgeous.
it's a beautiful car. It's actually done in a kind of like a metallic British racing green color.
Yeah.
And it is modeled after the Noble M600 or N.
M400 is what that
Four
car was,
or
because
six?
the 600 preceded the 400, which they discontinued.
Oh, because I know the 600 came with the Yamaha V8 that came with the
Yes.
Volvos.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was, I guess, an M400, and it was powered by a Ford Duratec V6.
Yep.
3 liters, 2 turbos, and it was supposed to make 500 horsepower at the crank. By the way, keep in mind, it weighs 2,400 pounds. It is mid-engined. It is rear-wheel drive. It has fuck all for safety, for like assist, for driver assist. It has no traction control, stability control. It's a manual gearbox. No airbags.
No ABS.
No ABS. It's all manual brakes.
It does have power steering, but it's very limited.
Very limited
Yeah, I was
power
like, you're
steering.
lucky it has power steering.
Yeah, really.
The amount that it does.
It has, the only real safety that it has
Is a seatbelt.
Well, it's racing harnesses.
It's racing harnesses, and it does have a full
True.
built-in roll cage.
It has
That's
a
true, it does.
roll
It
cage
does,
built
you're right.
into the ceiling that it's basically just covered by fucking
Alcantara.
Alcantara, yeah, exactly. So, very raw car, and actually, that's kind of the pedestal that I hope that if people have asked like, what's the fastest car I've driven, I will tell them, well, here's the fucking sketchiest car that I've driven. I drove a fucking Rossion. Go Google that shit. And the first time we drove the car, it actually made a lot of what sounded like 2J noises. It really did sound like a 2JZ.
It did. No, it had a lot of turbo-y blow-off noises.
But it was only making like 300 at the tire.
And even at that, it was scary.
So, okay.
Here's
A lot of
the
how a car drives comes down to the tires, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we had just done some beauty shots in a pullout on the backside of East Canyon over basically the reservoir was the backdrop, just before you drop into Morgan, kind of on that road, on that part of the road. So if you go from our pullout and start to drive back towards the canyon, back towards Salt Lake City, there's still a number of twisties and windy bits. And up until this point, we had basically driven the car in straight lines and had never really exercised any of the chassis or suspension or driving dynamics in any real sort of way until this moment. And this is 2018, right? This is June of 2018. And I am driving, and I'm going around a right-hand bend with my friend Paulina in the passenger seat. She was helping out with social media and Instagram posting, and her boyfriend Zach was helping with some filming as a second shooter. And we start to go around this corner. It's a very long right-hand bend. It's not an aggressive corner. It's not a decreasing radius corner. It's fairly mild. And I was traveling in third gear at more or less 60 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And the car was at... It might have been a little faster because in third gear, I was just a tick under $4,000.
Yeah.
And guess where a boost hits on a Rossion Q1?
In that particular setup, 4,000.
Exactly 4,000. So at this point in time, we were in between setups. I was trying to, and this is how a lot of these reviews get done, is the driving dynamics and a lot of the input and a lot of the talking points are done in between shots that are done. Or sometimes it's the information is given during the shots that are done on camera. It depends on how everything is all set up in the process that you go through all of that. So I was driving Paulina, and she's not really a car person. She and I have driven pretty quickly. She had driven with me in an RS7 before, which was very fast. And she's ridden with me in the Outback XT back when I had that. And we had easily dipped into triples. That's not hard. This was definitely the most hardcore car that she had been in, especially with me at the wheel. And for those that know how I drive, my driving record is very colored. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I'll paint you a quick picture before you continue that story. Is the first time I actually was with you in a car and you were behind the wheel.
It was your R32.
Yeah. And we were just doing like a shoot that day, and that was actually the first time I met you, Justin.
Yep. Was on that day.
And you're like, "Oh, well, you mind if we were at the subway, and you're like, you mind if I drive this up East Canyon? You can sit in the passenger seat." I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine. I'll get her. Whatever." And the whole time, first of all, that was my first time up that road in general.
I don't think I knew that at the time.
Second of all, I was like, this might be the
This might be the day that I die.
yeah.
This might be the last time I come up this road.
Bye
the first
bye,
time.
Miss American Pie.
Oh, man.
Gavin drove my fucking Volkswagen into the levee.
Okay, so you need to
Anyway.
finish Rossion.
Okay,
Yes.
so the thing about the Rossion, I was going around a right-hand bend, and it is a twin turbocharged vehicle. And they're not sequential turbos. They are the same turbo. So that means they hit at the fucking same time. Mm-hmm. So I had all of the power hit at a wallop at 4,000 RPM coming around a bend. And what do you think happens with a mid-engine rear-wheel drive car with no safety assist that does that around a corner?
I think it's something called snap oversteer.
Yes. Snap oversteer definitely happened. We may or may not have done a full 360. We may or may not have put up the smokiest clouds I have ever seen.
And I may not have had the owner in the passenger seat of the follow vehicle coming around the corner, seeing the car facing straight with black marks and smoke.
He didn't actually see the car break away, but I was within probably 10 feet of a pole. Coming around a bend. To be clear, though, this is the best possible place this could have ever happened, short of a parking lot.
Super wide area.
Plenty of room. And and the owner's reaction was great because, again, Jason's a great dude. We just come up over the corner, drop down, and all we see is a bunch of smoke, tire marks, and the car facing straight again. And he's just like, oh, no, I hope they're okay.
I mean, Paulina...
wasn't.
She damn near shat herself. She was not happy.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
I was fucking shaking too. I don't think I stalled the car because as you guys were coming up over that crest before the corner, we were pulling away.
Yep.
And the next time we stopped, the next time we stopped, I could not have been more sorry to Jason because because he's such a nice and sweet and kind, loving dude.
Yeah.
And also, that was the last thing I ever wanted to have happen on a shoot. All of what I want out of a car is how it drives before it loses traction. I don't give a shit about losing traction or about sliding or trying to be Tanner Faust and slide around a corner. I'm not trying to be that dude. That is not me.
Right.
I would love to learn how to drift in a controlled environment by, Team Scoundrels or by Salt City Drift by Nick Stuckey. That'd be fucking rad. And that's honestly something that can totally happen. We can make that happen. That's not hard. So that's kind of one thing that happened. So yes, the car spun. The darkest fucking lines you could ever... Actually, I went back a couple weeks later.
And they were still there.
They were easily still there. I actually took photos. And I was like, and I still show people, that's where the slide started, and that's where, and I swiped to the next photo, and that's where it fucking ended. And you can see where the car, where the actual, most of the rotation happened, because there was a long slide, and then it snapped, and then it rotated to make the full 360.
So those marks were there for a while.
Yeah, and the reason why.
Well, the marks were probably, 30, 40, 50 feet long?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tell us about those tires.
Yeah, and so this is the telltale why.
Yes, and so... I flat bottomed all 4 tires. Let me just tell you that right now. And Jason, God love him. He saw that as an accomplishment, not necessarily as a negative, but he saw it as an accomplishment. He's like, "Wow, you flat bottomed 4 tires. That's fucking amazing." And you didn't crash the car.
That actually is really impressive. Especially to do that in a non-race atmosphere. Where crashing
on a public road,
on a public road, that's impressive.
So that happened, and there were also other people around. By the way, I snapped some necks when that happened.
Yeah, I mean that was right at the entrance of a campground.
Campground, it's a place where people like to go barbecue and enjoy the lake. And I would love to actually have a group cruise that goes and meets up there and has barbecues. That'd be fucking dope. Maybe if Exhibition of Speed did a cruise, if we sanctioned a cruise.
That would be good.
Like to do. That'd be dope.
MUSLC.
Oh, yeah. You know what?
Could do that.
Fuck it. Yeah, let's fucking do it. Get Kevin Reebok in the
it's about time they fucking bring their asses down this way.
That's true. R.I.P. Kevin Reebok's butthole because he's about to eat a ghost pepper. Anyways,
nobody else is going to understand what
that's backstory.
That's zero context. That's only for the MU fam. So, anyways, so there's more story to this though. So that happened in June? Mm-hmm. Come August? So about the same time last year.
Yep.
I get a random DM from Jason because he had bought brand new tires because this is not his daily. He doesn't drive this car every day, so it took him a little while to get some new tires on this car.
Yeah.
And he he hits me up and says, "By the way, I got some Toyo R888s on the car now. I'm like, oh, okay, great. It's like, yeah, I checked out the old tires, and I'm just like, when he sent that, I'm just shitting myself. I'm just like, oh god, what happened? Those are he checked the date codes on those tires, and those are the original tires.
I hope he kept those, honestly.
I don't think he did.
I don't think he did.
I mean, because in
I don't
theory,
really know what
the
value
I can't
those
imagine
have.
they were
That'd
the
just be
actual.
kind of cool to have, I guess.
I can't imagine.
I mean,
more than anything, I guess
the-
that's all it really.
yeah.
I can't imagine they're the actual original tires because of the tortured history that the car has had before.
yeah.
But they were. If this is 2018, I can't imagine those tires were any newer than 2011.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Those were well past their time.
I think Jason claimed they were 10 years old.
I thought he might have said original tires, but I would be shocked if those tires were any. If they were from 09 or whatever, 07
Yeah,
is when the
yeah.
car was made.
More or less.
I would be shocked if they were that old. I wouldn't be surprised if they were between 09 and 2011, somewhere in there.
Yeah, like you said, especially given the history that we've been told about the car.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm sure
yeah.
that it went through several sets of tires.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
So,
Yeah, that happened. That was fun.
Yeah, you're welcome for bringing that up.
Oh, God.
Jordan
I mean,
is accomplished.
I mean, I do thoroughly enjoy telling that story, though.
Oh, that's a great story.
Because of how fucking great of a guy Jason is.
Oh, yeah.
Because of how kind, loving, and just like, fuck it, like, yeah, that happened. Like, sure, like, I don't give a shit. Nothing actually happened. Nothing negative happened. You didn't crash the car. Yeah, Paulina shat herself, but
But nobody died.
But yeah, nobody died. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
like,
that's just a normal bodily function. It's fine.
I mean, Paulina is traumatized now from my driving. I can't. The M2 was before that, so I actually haven't.
Yep.
I don't know how many times I've driven with her since then, but it's fucking not a lot.
Yeah. And, and this is an interesting case of two things happening at once. A, the tires, and B, a car that was, at the moment, although it boosted, it wasn't boosting in the way it should. So the boost
No.
came on
All at the same time.
all at the same time.
Yeah. So actually, for
Yeah, that's a good point, too.
to be completely clear, the car is being worked on right now.
Yes, the car.
It is under the knife. I don't want to dive too
No.
much into what's going on.
Is it still under the knife currently, though?
Oh, yeah.
So Jason actually just hit us up like a few days ago.
Oh, okay, because I talked to him like, what month are we in? 2 months ago at this point.
Yeah, Jason hit us up like, what, a week ago? Maybe?
Yeah.
It's very recently and said that the car is being shipped out for a new motor.
Oh,
Yep.
God.
So the new motor is actually happening.
Okay.
Yep. I mean, and considering, again, the tortured history, and I guarantee that's the original motor,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's...
Do we know if he's keeping the block?
That
'Cause
would,
that would make
that
for-
would be...
That'd be big for a great coffee
Okay,
table.
the tires, the block should be kept.
The
The
block,
block
yeah.
or maybe pistons or something. The head is
Is whatever.
whatever.
No,
but
just
Yeah.
the block.
the block and the rods and the pistons.
Yeah.
that'd be
The
dope.
bottom half would not be bad to keep.
Yeah, that'd make for a great coffee table. We
Oh,
should
yeah.
hit him up actually.
We should. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
like
regardless,
sooner than later to make sure that that's not like already gone.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But regardless, car's getting back up to its original power, and Jason's had a long time.
Well,
owning
original, I would say OEM plus.
that. OEM plus.
Yeah.
because the figures 550 to 600 have been discussed.
Right.
Yeah, and so
That car with double the power. Oh my god!
because
Because
Yeah.
when so we drove it a first time in 2018. We have driven it a second time in 2019. That was probably closer to 400 wheel.
Yeah.
Was he discussing 550 to 600 at the tire or at the crank?
I think that was still going to be at the crank, so that was
Okay.
put it like 525,
Well,
whatever.
like more or less 500 at the wheel, which is fucking fast.
Yeah, so-
that is fuck me fast.
yeah. So when
Again, especially for that car.
yeah,
For
so
how light
for-
it is
for
and
the-
how raw it
Yes.
is and how just fucking close to death you are.
It's
yeah.
pretty much just a motor with 2 seats and 4 tires.
yeah, so
And by the way, all the weight and the engine is behind you.
Yeah.
yep. Oh yeah.
Jordan, you didn't drive that car, did you?
No, I have not yet.
You rode with me. We did some pulls up to 140.
Yeah, and I
But-
rode with Jason in it before things happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the basic story is Jason's been constantly fighting getting that car running right, and now
Yeah.
it's finally going to be running right.
Right.
Which is good because the whole time he's owned the car, he was said that
He's been unhappy.
he's been unhappy, but he's like, it's like a super love-hate relationship. He's like, I love the car because of how unique it is, but at the same time, it's like never running properly. So once he gets it
Constant
right,
issues.
he was like on the verge of selling the damn thing.
He
He
and I
was.
had talks for sure.
Yeah,
He was
well,
very
because somebody over here.
Okay.
Justin has definitely had a very strong hard-on for this car ever since June of last year.
I've got starry Twitter-pated eyes for this thing, and it is, you know,
And you don't get that way very often. You
I
got that
don't.
way about the Stinger.
I
You're
did.
not even that way about the Tacoma.
No, the Tacoma's a fantastic work truck. Highly recommend it. But
It is a tool.
yes, exactly.
Yeah, again, completely different realms though. The
Well,
Tacoma
well,
versus
yeah,
Stinger.
we're just talking cars in general and how I don't generally get that.
Justin
Just-
does talk a lot about the Taco, though.
Okay.
Again, it's a great truck, a great
but
tool.
but not to the same extent as the Stinger, because you did not stop talking about that car for
The whole time I owned it.
The whole time he.
what was
yeah.
it, 16 months, 15 months?
It would have been so.
You bought it at the tail end of February of 18, and you sold it in
May, so it would have been 14 months.
14 months. Okay.
Yep. And yeah.
Yeah, you didn't stop talking about it for over a fucking year.
Yeah, and I still miss it.
And yeah, so he still sees it sometimes, like
'Kay.
the same car.
No.
So
way.
keep in
From
mind,
time to time.
How the deal worked with the Tacoma was I walked in and said, here's what it is. I put a shit ton of miles in this car. I have a buyout value from the lease. I need to get out of it because I leased it to actually get $10,000 off because they had an incentive. So that, that saved my ass in the
Yeah.
end. But at that point, the car was worth private party about 37 and trade-in, being a good trade-in, about 32 to 33. So I walked in and said, I need to trade this. I need a truck for work. I have another car that I own outright that's going to be my down payment, quote unquote, because it's about $1,500 is what I want out of it. And traded in Stinger, traded in that, got the truck. Stinger went back to the dealership across the street where I originally bought it. They're the ones that bought it back to resell it. It sat on the lot for about a month with them asking $35 for it, which was a killer deal being how well that car was taken care of.
Yeah.
And then it disappeared off my radar. I had no clue where it went. The dude has to live within about 5 miles of me because I've seen him 4 times. And I know it's the same car because my particular car had some small damage to the right rear door from some major rocks that kicked up at some point. And I had fairly
think
dark...
it was maybe during one of your 150 polls.
Probably. And
The show's called Exhibition of Speed.
Speed.
After
Also in Mexico.
also in Mexico.
Oh no, we would never do that stateside.
No,
Absolutely
of course
not. No, that would just be stupid.
No, not at
Yeah.
all. So
We respect
The,
we respect law enforcement way too much for that.
Yes,
Actually,
exactly.
but high key, yeah,
we
for
do.
sure.
For sure.
Absolutely.
So anyways, I've seen the car 4 times now, and through those identifying marks, and also having the
4
tinted...
times in 3 months.
Yeah, and having the tinted windows that I had as well. I had a tint strip and dark tint on the whole car. So I know it's the same car, but every time I've seen it, I have not been able to chase him down. And one of these times I'm going to be able to chase him down and just say, look, here's my number.
Whenever
If-
you want to sell,
If you ever sell this,
call me.
please call me. Please call me. Because I've bought and sold many cars. I've owned many cars. That's the one that kind of tore my heartstrings out.
Damn.
I mean,
Who would
okay.
have known that somebody...
Kia.
Exactly
Yeah,
what
of
I'm
all
getting
things.
at.
And
That-
keeping,
It felt-
that a Kia would have done this to somebody.
Truth be told, as someone who Justin that has owned multiple German cars, and as someone
yeah.
also such as myself that is a huge fan of and has driven many German cars, it felt very German.
It did.
It
Yeah,
did not
it-
feel Korean at all in the slightest.
It felt very reminiscent of my Audis, which is one that I'm happy about.
Which is okay. So
Kia's cranking out some talent. That's all I
Kia
gotta
and
say.
Hyundai both. I want to
Yes.
drive the G70 really, really bad. Both
Yeah.
in the 2.0 version because that comes with the stick.
Right.
I'm curious about that. And then also, yeah, how does the V6 version handle? Because they're the same car minus what 3 or 4 inches in wheelbase.
4 inches in wheelbase, and the Genesis weighs a tiny bit more because of the extra leather deadening, all that, the luxury stuff.
You may feel the weight, but you'll also with a shorter wheelbase, you will get some more possibly tail happiness, especially in
So-
the rear-wheel driver. Is there an all-wheel drive Genesis G70?
Yeah, literally same options as a Stinger. Quick baseline on them. Both of them come 3.310 turbo, 365 horsepower, 370 foot-pounds of torque. Both of them come in either rear or all-wheel drive, 8-speed automatic. The main differences are obviously body and then 4-inch shorter wheelbase for the G70.
Right.
Now, as far as what I've seen, there's been of course, in the Stinger group I'm a part of, there's a ton of people that compare the two because there's people that own both or like have owned both or things like that.
Interesting. Okay.
And-
I mean, I guess the Stinger's has been out long enough that people have possibly
Over a
been
year
both.
and a half at this point.
Yeah.
And so
Well,
effectively,
your car was originally a demo car for Utah?
my car, from what
Because you
we
picked that up February 27.
And I
February-
hadn't seen anything like it for the longest.
so they launched
yeah.
it. The first time you could have bought a Stinger was December of 2017, and my car arrived stateside, actually here in Utah, in December of 2017, and
Right.
was a demo car. My car had 500 miles on it when I bought it.
Yeah.
Because it was the one in the January auto show down here.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
the red car that was there.
Wow.
And so it was effectively the first one that hit Utah. I can't verify that, but as far as we can tell from the talking at the dealership, it was the first one to hit Utah.
Cool.
Anyway, so comparing those two cars would actually be kind of interesting because a lot of people didn't like the G70s much. They said because they went for a luxury type feel, the steering and stuff didn't feel as good, which I thought was weird. I would love to verify that for myself.
Well, I mean, okay, so watching Smoking Tire, reviews, because Farrah drove a G70 on a very tight road
Yes.
over in Malibu.
Yes.
And he's also brought up numerous times on their podcast. He was absolutely in love with the car.
Yeah.
He loved how that car drove.
Now, keep in mind, I'm taking from the peanut gallery of Facebook, so that's why I don't necessarily trust it.
Right, and also people like Matt Farrah, because he also writes for Road and Track.
Yeah.
He actually people pay him for his opinions.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a little bit of credibility there, I think.
Just a smidge.
Just a little bit.
Just a bit.
So it would be interesting to actually get that on, because actually keeping on the track.
That would
of-
be a fun video, though, just comparing both cars.
I still
That
have
would be
connections
good.
with Stingers. I could get a Stinger. I still know people that own them statewide. So
We should do that.
we should try that.
Didn't you just say that there's somebody that's going to be on the MULA drive?
What, Andrew?
Yeah.
That's true. If we can slate a G70 that's in Cali,
Yeah.
because he'll be in Cali.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's flying though. He might be flying because he's also.
That's
a
what he did it
pilot.
last time.
He's also a pilot.
Yeah.
Where does he live?
Montana.
Oh.
Okay, so fun fact though, the very first MULA meet was in 2017,
Right.
October of 17. I was where
The
that's where I was-
BMW trip.
No,
Nope.
no.
No, it was MULA 2.
That was 18.
That was 18. Yeah, so that
Yeah.
was MULA
Okay.
too. The very first MULA trip, I was working at IE,
Okay.
and Andrew drove from Bozeman in his BRZ
Okay.
from Bozeman to Salt Lake, stayed at my place overnight. He left in the morning, and I left for IE in the morning. I went to work, did a full day's work, came home. Girlfriend picked me up, took me to the airport, and I flew. And he met me at LAX and picked me up at LAX. So he did a full days of driving in a BRZ. It was a brand new BRZ. It was like an 18. It was like that facelift version.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it wasn't like stanced or anything because I just
No. It was all
every
stock.
time I hear BRZ, I just think of that.
No.
I'm just like,
It was
oh,
at
God.
1,000% original. It did come with a factory wing.
Okay.
But I mean, those seats though. I mean, they're not.
Comfortable.
They're not a Rolls Royce. It's definitely a. They're not. They're definitely on the sporty side, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like
Sporty side.
any like sport seats from Subaru in general really aren't great in general.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. So that with a car that's kind of loud and drony on the freeway
right.
for fucking 10 hours. And I got to wake up a little later than he did. I got to go to work. I got to get picked up by my girlfriend from the airport and take me to the airport, make the flight, and I still had 10 minutes of waiting time until he picked me up.
Damn.
Yeah. But I mean, I made up for it though because
You bought him lunch.
well, the next MULA meet that happened, I got to pick his ass up in an M4, which is one of his dream cars. So it worked out. It's all good. But yeah,
We should definitely, we'll see what we can do. Because I'm sure he'd be willing to let us use the car, even if it's not in MULA.
I
Yeah.
mean, there are some fun roads up in Bozeman.
Oh, yeah, there's some beautiful areas up in Montana.
There's a couple of roads up there.
Is that where he lives? Is in Bozeman?
Bozeman, yep.
Okay.
Well, he commutes between Bozeman and Seattle. He works for Alaska Air.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't drive it quite often. He finds a way there. They basically move him around.
They commute.
Yeah.
So, anyways, but actually, one last topic on the Hyundai Kia takeover, hashtag that.
Yeah.
I really, as much as I disliked the car for a long time, I really would love to drive a Veloster N.
You disliked that?
No, just the Veloster, not the N.
Oh, yeah.
I just
no,
like the Veloster.
The N is a
I would-
vastly different car.
I would love to drive that.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I don't know who I can call to make that happen.
I know. I haven't even
Yeah, I
necessarily
know
seen
somebody
him
who
around
just
yet.
recently
Those
bought
are
a
all press
Veloster,
cars.
But
Those are all press cars right now.
Not
Yep,
a
they're not
Veloster
even.
N.
I don't think the ends you can even get yet.
yeah.
I think you can. I think I've seen some videos at Cars at dealerships. You can get them.
That one definitely interests me, though. There's not many Korean cars that interest me. The Stinger, the G70, and that are pretty much it.
You know what I wish we got though?
What?
There's the i30N, which is so if the Veloster N is the Focus ST competitor, the i30N is the Fiesta ST competitor, and that intrigues me way more. But
Yes.
we don't get that here.
Because fuck the United States.
Yeah, and
Pretty much in every
small
way.
cars. Well, also big cars too.
Yeah,
with
I
fast
mean,
wagons.
yeah. Look at almost anything that's imported here. It's the United States is literally the armpit of the world when it comes to the greatest and the best from brands of across any pond.
True.
Yeah, Japanese and German alike. Yeah.
Yep,
And we don't get French cars.
and we don't get Australian cars.
I mean,
Holden.
well,
Okay, hang on. So, okay, we don't
G8,
get
Chevy SS.
we
which
don't
is
get
the
things with a legitimate Holden badge. Is all I'm saying.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, it's because I get
Yeah,
you.
we don't
I
get
get they
Utes.
are GM derived. Yes, but we
Utes.
don't get the Utes that come from that.
We are in Utah though.
Ha 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 ha.
Jordan coming in with the puns.
Goodness, but yeah.
Good talk, you guys.
This
Do
is
you want to wrap this up?
yeah. We should probably begin wrapping this up because I remember on the first podcast we said these are going to be 30 minutes, and we are now
We are at 95 minutes.
we're doing great.
So thank you all for tuning in. This has been the Exhibition of Speed podcast. If you haven't already, go like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure to hit that bell icon because why would you subscribe and not want to know when we upload, right?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, go watch our shit. Coming up, we are actually currently working on finishing 997.2 versus 991.1 GT3s. That's going to be a hell of a film. I'm super stoked for that. And stick around for more. If you want to find us on the gram, just search Exhibition of Speed, all one word. If you want to find us on Facebook, Exhibition of Speed Show is our Facebook. And just pops up as us. We need to change our profile on that because that's just you with the TTRS.
I know it was great.
A car that actually never got to see the light of day.
Yeah, and on top of that, next time you'll probably actually get to hear what I was going to say. All of my
Oh, yeah, because you were going to
background.
tell your war stories.
Yep. So next time we'll tell all my war stories because Jordan was fantastic here.
No, thanks for coming, man. We appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks for having me. But I've anticipated just hearing war stories tonight. So
hey, you got to tell
I mean,
your own.
we we can tell that off mic. We can shoot the shit with our whiskey, with
Yeah.
your whiskey.
all right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So-
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever this podcast may find you, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.